You missed it. All right. Sure.
You don't need to sign for a minute. Just when it comes up, you just.
Here. Yep. All right. You ready? Everybody ready? All right. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Official time is 6:04 to our October 2nd, 2018. First Tuesday business meeting. I'd like to call to order. I need approval of the agenda at this time.
Chairman, I'd like to ask that we add Tim Petrowski and the request to purchase a truck under state contract as new business number 6. He had requested this by email prior to the cutoff of the agenda, and I just missed it.
Okay. All right. Is that an addition to the agenda?
So move with the addition, Chairman.
Motion to second.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Tonight, our invocation pledge is our honor to have Pastor Joe Ridley from the Church of the Body of Christ.
Let us pray. Father God, in the holy, precious name of Jesus, we approach the throne of grace. Thank you for mercy. Grace to help. Thank you for what you've done for us, what you're doing for us, oh God, how you desire to lead us in every aspect of our lives. We thank you for the nation, the country. Thank you, oh God, for the governments on every level in this county, oh God. And we thank you for the victory that you have won for us and the salvation you have made available to us. And we want to look to you. Because without you, we find out we can't do anything. We need your guidance. We need your help. We need you to lead us, and we need to give ourselves over to you. Thank you for all that you made available to us. Help us to avail ourselves with what you made available so that we can do what needs to be done in the land, regards to the job. Hallelujah. We need your help in guiding us. In the name of Jesus, bless this meeting tonight. Bless everyone that's here. Oh, God, give directives. And we will not make mistakes in what we do. In the name of Jesus, we thank you right now. Take every one of us, hide us behind the cross, keep us covered in the blood of Jesus, the Son of your will, keep us. Father God, whatever you do for us or through us, we're going to be careful to give you the glory, the praise, and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Everybody said amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, individual, liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We move on tonight to our planning and zoning. I'll turn it over to Ms. Petrowski. It looks like we've got a withdrawal with drawn requests. So you want to go on to your item B?
Yes, sir. Well, if anyone's in the audience concerning Ryan Green's application for the sawmill on Cheehaw, that application has been withdrawn. If it comes up again, he would have to file a new application. We'll re-advertise in the paper and post signs on the property again.
Okay. Thanks.
Moving on to item B, request by Brandon Burgess. This is the existing DeLong Gizzard operation. They've been operating there for almost 2 decades, and they want to have an addition onto that existing building. Planning Commission has recommended approval of this request.
Does board have any questions for Mr. Petrowski? Anybody here in the audience opposed to this request tonight? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
So move, Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Chairman, item C is the request made by this body to begin to amend the Comprehensive Land Development Resolution, Section 97.4, Bracket 5. We wanted to alter the exemptions that were allowed under the existing sign ordinance. You've been provided with some suggested text. This text has been recommended for approval by the Planning Commission. This will strike religious groups, civic organizations, and nonprofit service club emblems, insignias, or flags as an exempted item from our regulations. It also creates a new bracket 9, which would authorize the erection of one flag on lot that could display anything that the individual wants to put on it, in effect giving a lot 3 authorized signs.
Any questions from Mr. Petrowski? If none, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. If no more discussion, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Ayes have it, 4-1. 4-1. Okay, Mr. Petrowski.
Chairman, our final item is a request by Daniel Hadaway. This is to allow the creation of an additional lot on an existing private road. This is Lois Lane. Mr. Hadaway owns an excessively large lot, and we see this frequently when individuals are trying to finance a new home. The lenders want smaller lot sizes, so he has requested this. Because this is a variance, there is not a recommendation from staff or the Planning Commission.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Petrowski? If none, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. We have a second.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anybody? Ayes have it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Move on tonight to board appointments. Is approval to reappoint Judge Mike Green to the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities Board for a 3-year term, which ending June 30th of 2021. We have a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. All right. Commissioner Martin, second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Consent agenda and for approval of minutes, we have the third Tuesday, September 18th, 2018, and we have an executive session of September 18th, 2018. If y'all had an opportunity to look at this, I need a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Moving on, great night. You might get your early time this morning. Mr. Sunset Harris, we have visitors next. Would you like to come forward?
Yes, sir.
I understand you're representing the residents of Sun Valley also. Just Mr. Harris can come up when you're speaking on behalf of Sun Valley, that would be fine.
Yes, sir. Good evening, guys.
Thank you.
We're here today because there were some issues regarding what was going to take place out in the Sun Valley area. We got some bad information. I met with Jason today, Ms. Sullivan, Timothy Ingram, and Mr. Powles, and they assured me that everybody living in this subdivision will get some form of connection to the public sanitation system. The group may have some questions of the board, or just to let you know what type of issues that we are facing out there. As a matter of fact, we met on Sunday afternoon on the corner of Sun Valley Drive and Carl Way. And while we was there having this meeting, the stench was so bad we could hardly stand there. So we're asking the board, if you could, we need a little bit more oversight on this project because it has so many moving parts about it. They lost about, I know it was raining, but they lost about 2 weeks prior to startup. And we have lost a number of days since then. So if we could get a little bit more oversight over this project. And I would like to ask Mr. Rizzer to speak on the connection process for us.
Yes, sir. And Tim Ingram is here with us as well, and he can speak to this as well. We do have now there's some homes in the neighborhood that classified as low to moderate income, others that didn't. Is that the issue you're referring to?
The issue that we was bringing to the board this afternoon is that we was told that there was a segment of the subdivision that would not get connected to the system at all. You know, but I was told in your meeting that everybody will have that opportunity, whether it be with by grinder pumps or by gravitation.
That's right.
Okay, so this group is here this afternoon to make sure that, you know, we get what you guys are saying we're gonna get, because in the past the goalpost continues to move, and we don't know one day from the next as to what's gonna happen. My anxiety was up to here prior to coming to this meeting this afternoon at 4:30. Okay, you guys help me with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But the need is so great. I went by one neighbor's house after we finished with the meeting that afternoon, and she was telling me about how when it rains, the water gets into her home and in her basement, and they can't do anything. She's probably moderate income, and she has 4 kids, and those kids are living under those conditions. Prior to July, I went through the area over there on Neptune Way. Feces running into the ditch. Kids playing in that area. That environment is toxic. It's a biohazard. And we need to go ahead and get something done about it as soon as possible. Now, what the group had planned to do today, well, after we leave the meeting, is possibly start writing congressmen and whatnot. But we're going to hold off on that since you guys are going to take care of the issue for us. You may not see me as much anymore. I've got 2 people, and we're in the process of getting others on board to help to further this process. I'm somewhat of a self-appointed leader, and I've had enough of this. I've worked at this for 32 years. Just in the last 5 years, I've been able to get to this point. Now that we got somebody over there in the area to start working on our issue, I'm sort of happy that, and I think it will get taken care of. I'm pretty sure it will. But there's still an urgency there to take care of this problem. Do you guys have anything you want to say? Anybody?
I do. I want to know.
Ma'am, can you come forward and introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, my name is Brenda Harden Bunkley, and I live next door to Sunset.
Could you give Ms. Marge your exact address for the record?
Yes, 1721 Sun Valley Drive.
Oh, thank you.
And I know that he's been working real hard on this project. I mean, better than anybody, but I told him I'd be glad to come in and help. Now I'm retired, and I got a lot of time on my hands. But my main question is, what low income got to do with putting sewage out there, like connections out there? I need to know that. What is that about?
So the grant that we received is a community development block grant, and the way that we're eligible to receive that is you designate an area that is low to moderate income. And so at some point in this process, I think Mr. Harris and some others went door to door, and you actually have to do income surveys of the people in the neighborhood to ensure that it qualifies as low to moderate income. And so that's kind of how you initially qualify to get the money to be able to do a project like this through that particular program.
Can I chime in on that?
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that I was told when we was doing the survey is that when we went house to house, well, I was working with Ms. Kristen Gilliard, and she said that the way this works is that once they get all of the tabulations in as far as income is concerned, that they would average out everything, because it's been a subdivision, and with us having a problem with the process subdivision wide, this should work. So if this is wrong, then someone needs to tell us, but you guys assured us that everybody would get service.
Excuse me, I wanted to say something. I actually spoke with I'm Jada Elliott. I'm a homeowner, been there since 2002. Me and my husband, Isaac Elliott.
Quick, I don't. What's your address for the record?
It's 195 Sun Valley Drive.
Okay, thank you.
And I actually spoke with the county engineer on yesterday, and he advised me that it would not come to my home, that I would be vulnerable to the sewage backup, because he said that they were running out of money, is what the engineer told me. Also, I spoke with a gentleman that he worked with the water authority, and he also said that it would not come to the whole community.
What engineer did you talk with?
I can't remember his name. He was there yesterday working, but also I spoke with someone. He told me that the Jones County Water Department had something to do with that.
This is one of those houses, Jim, that's down below me on the lower end. If you could speak.
So around the curve.
Well, yeah, around the curve and down on the far end near the pond. Yeah, those are the ones that you said the water company, Bibb County might be able to do. There's a line down there.
No, there at the down below the pond. There's a gravity line that's there existing now. Everybody, when you go past Mr. Harris's house and you make the curve, everybody on the right has a sewer line behind their house now. It runs up to the school, and it's been there since the school was constructed. The ones on the left, and probably both sides will probably end up having to get, probably be served with a grinder pump to pump up to that gravity line.
Anything beats a septic tank.
Yeah.
This is David. David would introduce yourself. He's going to be one of the individuals that's going to
Good evening.
This process.
I'm David Green. I'm the owner of the residence at 144 Sun Valley Drive. I'm very thankful that this process is moving forward, and I've been just sitting back watching to see how it would develop, and I'm thankful to have Mr. Harris here. So I'm a pretty straightforward guy. You know, if this is what has been allotted to this subdivision, you know, I was taught you take a man for his word. So if you guys are going to do this, then I'm just expecting it to happen. So we're watching and waiting, and we do notice the slowdowns. And so, you know, over time, you know, my side of the street they've already started construction. So my driveway gets washed out and so forth. But I'm patient. I understand this is a grant and this is a process. And so we're just adamant about trying to protect our neighborhood, as anyone else, wherever you live in Jones County, would do as well.
You finished it?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay,
Thank you.
I have Mr. James Williams. He's also a neighbor.
Hello, Commissioner.
He's going to also participate in this process.
You know, my name is James Williams. I live on 2844 Coral Way.
Yeah.
You know, when this started, really about a couple of years ago, you know, like Mr. Harris said, it was exciting. You know, he told me about it, and then people started coming by the house, get excited, and then it just went away for, like I said, about a year and a half. And now that it started, and here it is kind of discouraging, because I know me, I ain't know, like, I guess the specific, like low income or not. To me, it just Jones County family.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of all. And for me, I'll be honest, single income family. My son is autistic. My wife doesn't work, so she takes care of that. But guys, ladies, this is all my receipts for septic tank every single year or twice a year. And we talking like $300-400 twice a year. And I have to dig up that yard about once, twice a year. This year, I'm just going to try to, Mr. Harris told me to do a cap so they won't have to keep digging it up. It's discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So hopefully we can get this done, because we really do need to get this done, because like you said, sewage on Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't live on Neptune, but a street over. My wife and I would go walking, and you see it, you smell it. You know, what can I say?
Yeah.
You know, nobody else don't want to see that. Yeah. So just help us out.
Right. Well, I have seen progress. They are back out there working in. For full disclosure, so everybody knows, and I want to make it our family trust actually owns 2 houses on Sun Valley. So, and I was surprised that they said that looked like they're going to make the taps all the way to the house. Is that what my understanding is?
Yes. With CDBG, we can run all the way to the house.
Okay. Because they actually had one of my driveways piled up with dirt. And I pulled up, and they said, "You live here?" And I said, "No, our family trust owns the property there. It's 116 and 134 Sun Valley. Our family trust owns property there." So, but then he said that we just spent on 134. We just spent $7,000 on the septic tank on it less than a year ago, because we were having issues, you know, and as much as you hate to spend it, that's the price of having a home, having to, maintain it. But sewer's going in, and like I said, it's going to be, I know the wheels don't turn as fast as you want to, but I see the progress they're making, and I'm pleased with it to know that we're getting ready to have sewer in that area and correct this problem.
Well, these are the three phases that you'll be seeing other than mines. Probably glad not to see mines anymore, but I'm still going to be in the background and do this process.
I hope you stay active in it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, guys.
Hey, thank y'all.
Thank you. I want to thank the board for allowing us to come before you today to discuss this issue, and hopefully we can get a little bit more oversight out that way to make sure this project is finished in a timely manner.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Should we ask Tim to stay here, or we fine?
Yeah, and I was going to say,
Tim, real quick, you got any closing comments?
No, we've had, y'all don't know this, and we didn't even at the time, but Piles was working on the interchange, and DOT has had them for the last 2 weeks trying to get some tie-ins made, and that has knocked us back a little bit. And we have, because of the funding, we have to use the DBE, and they have held us up. They've been a problem as well. And we're going to see if we can get rid of them, I guess, because they're I mean, they've been cleared for 3.5 weeks, and I got to get them clear and get it moved out of the way so we can set the pump station so we can run power to it. And at the rate we're going, it's probably going to be another 2 weeks before we get done. So we need to do something.
Okay. Jason, you got?
I was just going to mention, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think sometime in the near future, Tim or Jeffrey or representatives of the county will be going door to door in the neighborhood to discuss the connections, the connection process.
To try to get that put together, because we've got to start going door to door. Well, especially for the folks with the drainage. Because we've had some phone calls, and I don't know that we've had 4 or 5 people that are not interested in sewer. They don't have issues. They don't want to follow it. So we've got to identify who they are.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Tim. Any other comments or questions? Well, we got Tim. All right. Thank you, Tim. We have another visitor, Yolanda Parks. Are you?
Ms. Parks will not be here this evening.
Okay. All right.
Talk to her today.
Okay. We move on to new business. Mr. Graham, I think it's a fundraiser.
Yes, sir.
Fundraising.
I kind of feel weird standing here. We go from topic to topic, and I know each is as important as the other. But that certainly is an important topic. Into our cause, what I'm about to say. It's this time every year since 1982 that we've done our photo fundraiser for the fire department and EMA. I've asked to have a meeting with Dale Martin with Excalibur. He's the same company we've been doing business with since the 80s. And before I wanted to do this, I wanted to approach the board and ask, would it be allowable this year that we could go out and to door and go fundraising as we have since the 80s. I don't want to go into what occurred last year. It happened. That's water under the bridge, and we go on. The Picture Fund is this corporation sends out approximately 5 people. They're bonded. The company Excalibur is through the Secretary of State is registered with them. And before these folks that work for Excalibur go out on the street, they're approved by the sheriff. There's a photo of each person that will be in the street, the picture of their vehicle that they'll be driving, and the license plate. They'll be checked beforehand, and then in case somebody calls in a suspicious vehicle that's going door to door, the dispatchers have got that information, and if the information doesn't jive, then they'll respond to unit. That's been done ever since we started. And but what the agents do is ask for a $40 donation. $20 goes to the fire department. $20 goes to the company for a portrait, and then I think that there's 5 or 6 other pictures that come along with it. So that's how we make how much we do, and then the company makes just as much too. Of course, I've got to provide the pictures though. Typically, we do very good at this. It has brought us from Hearst Tools, Jaws of Life. The very first Jaws of Life were purchased with that money back in the 80s. And I know that Mr. Tommy probably remembers when we replaced those just a few years back. They were over 30 years old, but it was with those funds that we didn't have at the time that we could clear that plateau. All I'm asking this tonight is if we can, I'll approach Excalibur again, sign a contract. I do want to say this too on sidebar. Anything over, let's say somebody wants to give more money. There are folks that write 50, 100. We've got 2 or 3 families that give us over $1,000 every year. No matter what, the company gets $20, no matter what. Anything over that $20, it comes to the fire department. So if somebody writes a check for $50, the company gets 20, and we get the rest. And it's calculated once a week, every Wednesday.
Mr. Kidd, I think you.
Yeah, I would. A couple of things that I know we don't have any decision making power or anything with the city of Gray, but I would like to see us reach out to them and see if we could partner. So it would be city and county wide, and then everybody benefits from it. I know the city has needs just like we do, and if you can get more money in the coffers for their needs as well. I know that'd be a decision and a contract between the city and Excalibur, but I think we should make that offer that, we partner on it and make it a county-wide deal. Second thing is, not only should, my opinion, should we do it, we should promote it and support it from this board, whether it's through our social media avenues, through the sheriff's department, however we can, because it's been proven that the more we support it and promote it, the better event it is. So I'm 100% behind it, and if we need a motion for that, I'll make it.
Commissioner Kitchen said, what we usually do is put a letter in People Speak, and it's a personal letter from me that tells exactly what we do. It did go aside last year, got caught up. I don't know if it was sickness. I'm not sure. It's been so many things that's medically with me here lately. I can't remember why I missed People Speak, but usually I put a letter and people really read that little part. I think some people just get that part of the newspaper just to read that part, and we'll push it on our social into. We've got a Facebook page, and any other way we can push it out before the guys hit the streets, and plenty of time.
Mr. Pitt?
Another thing, Mr. Chairman, would ask to reach out to the Board of Education. They do have the one call system that they can reach out to all homes, throughout Jones County. So maybe we can partner with them to allow us to use the one call service so that they know who's coming. They've got a personal phone call with a number. So if they have any additional questions, they can call that number to learn and be aware of what's going on and what to expect when somebody does show up at their home.
We can always use Code Red, but we don't want to do that over 1,000 calls. That gets in costly. We don't have any extra charges over 1,000 calls, but we've got plenty of folks in the county. And it may be something. I know that the BOE is a little partial on theirs too. I think theirs is the same way, but I will certainly and personally take it.
At least worth an ask.
Right. Oh yeah. I will be taking care of this in every avenue that I can to push it out before these folks hit the streets. If I get a good vote.
Commissioner Robinson, any comment?
And no doubt you'll get a good vote, and I think this will be a banner year for fundraisers.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Martin?
I'm happy you're addressing some of the issues that came about after last year's incident. I remember a lot of the posts were not friendly, and they also questioned where the money goes. You're upfront addressing that, so people are keenly aware of the 50-50 split and how those resources will be divided. I know the difference that it makes, and I'm glad that you're able to do this the right way, and people will be informed about it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Kitchens to go forward with this fundraiser. I got a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Board.
Thanks, Tom.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Approval for the Bradley Wayside auction lease agreement for 2018 through 2020. Mr. Resner, is this yours?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'll take this one. As you may recall, a year or so ago, the previous operator of the auction there, Mr. Jimmy Burnett, passed away, and his daughter took over operations of the auction. Just in recent weeks, she's decided to sell that business to another individual, and the current lease expires at the end of this year, and so we've talked with the soon-to-be new owner there and worked up a new lease that'll carry us through 2020. The rate is the same, $650 a month that we've had previously, and I know Frank has done some work on this as well. He might have some comment, but my recommendation would be approval of the lease.
And I think that sums it up. I don't have anything to add.
Oh, great. Well, we have a recommendation. I have a motion for the recommendation on.
So move, Mr. Chair, to proceed with the Bradley Wayside auction lease agreement.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Move on. It's approval for the Transit 5311 resolution authorizing the filing of a FY 2020 grant application for funding assistance. President, is this you again?
I'll take a little bit of this, and then Margie may have some comments on this too.
Okay.
I think every year about this time we have to the board has to consider a resolution authorizing the filing of this application for funding assistance, and it goes to both the state and the federal government. As you'll recall, about half of the 5311 amount comes back to us in the form of a reimbursement from the state. So I think, Margie, correct me if I'm wrong, but this just kind of gets the ball rolling for the state's next fiscal year.
All right. Any questions? If not, I need a motion to go out for the grant funding.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Commissioner Martin, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. Thank you. Number 4, approval to go out for bid for 4 2019 Dodge Charger, 1 2019 Dodge Durango Pursuit SUV, and 1 2019 Chevy Tahoe 4x4. Whatever this is, CK15706 ILS for the sheriff's office. You taking the sheriff's office stuff tonight?
I guess so.
I was talking about it. The deputy standing behind it. I don't know what you're
on the phone. Whatever he says, yeah.
He said, yeah, okay. Mr. Resner, this is a request from the sheriff.
Yes, sir, and I think you had the letter from the sheriff in your binder there, but this is using some of the SPOS money that from the 2015 SPOS that's allocated to the sheriff's department, and I think we've typically done about 6 vehicles per year with that the money that was allocated there. So
any questions or discussion? No, I entertain a motion to go forward with this bid.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second. Second. Commissioner Robbins, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Award bid for a walking path at the Government Center. Going?
Yes, sir. This walking path to the government center is part of the passive park here adjacent to this building. We went out for bid. It's a quarter-mile walking track. There's 10 bids, but in these bids, 2 of them are concrete only, so there's 8 bids for material and labor. Sam Hall and Son at $68,994. LeKay Enterprise at $46,698 and some change. Richardson Finishing, $73,920. I cannot pronounce number 6.
Lanyap, I think.
Lanyap Development, $52,905 and some change. Xavier Enterprise, $52,750. Dyer Construction, $70,200. Blunts and Son, $36,960. Concrete Construction, $31,500. After looking over these, I'd like to recommend us awarding the labor and material to Contractors Construction, Inc. for $31,500.
All right, so the labor on that was $31,500, and then plus concrete.
No, sir. That's the base bid. Is both labor and concrete.
Wow. $40,000 difference on a quarter mile of concrete. Okay.
And the $31,000 falls pretty close into our estimates that myself and Tim Ingram did. Doing our measurements, calling concrete companies, getting initial or soft numbers from concrete companies and putting it down. This falls real close to our initial estimate.
You're running that distance, you're probably running 100 something yards of concrete?
Rough estimate is 130.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm recommending do a turnkey with the concrete constructors is if we do where we buy the material and they just do the labor, then they don't have as much appeal to make sure they stay at grade. They may be at 6 inches in areas, 3 inches in areas, 8 inches in areas, which could make our 130 yards of concrete actually go to 150.
Sure. I feel good with that. 130. I just can't believe it was a price spread on it. But all right. Any more discussion or questions?
Mr. Chairman, if we approve this, I want to be sure that we have an inspector there. Make sure that the grade is done correctly and that we are getting 4 inches of concrete.
Sure. Okay. Are you making a motion on that part?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the bid from Concrete Constructors and for the county to have an inspector there to make sure that we're getting the 4-inch concrete and that the grade is correct.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Excuse me. Anything else is said in the contract.
Okay, sure. We have a second?
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed. 4-1. Thank you, Mr. Gowen. We got old business. Oh, no, excuse me. We got number 6. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, we got number 6. Mr. Petrowski, your zoning truck.
Yes, sir. In the budget, I believe we authorized one to be purchased. I'd like to proceed forward under state contract to make that purchase. They have shifted now to the 2019 truck, so it did raise the base price about $1,000.
Okay. Just curiosity, you talked about you didn't really need your vehicle, or I mean, I ain't trying to take a vehicle from you. I ain't trying to take a vehicle from you, but I did hear you say that. Did you hear that?
No, I do use it very little, and I could certainly do without it. So,
can you use a SUV?
I do have to go off-road, soil erosion, job sites, and all. If the vehicle will handle that, I have no problem with it. I don't know if it will or not.
Well, you're two-wheel drive now in the truck, so
yeah. I'm more worried about the terrain I go through. Sure. But I'm whatever the board wants to do.
I'm just a thought. I mean, I know Jason said that he didn't use it that much. I just throwed him under the bus and took him up on it.
Oh, that's fine. Matt had a comment, Chairman.
Sure, go ahead.
Matt had a comment.
Matt.
the vehicle he has now is my Escape that I used to drive, and I drove it for 3 years. I gave it to him because he gave up his Blazer. I'm not trying to, I don't know that that's fit for what Tim's trying to get. It's more of a true street. It's a hybrid. It's more of a true street vehicle.
So y'all were out in the hall negotiating. No, I'm just messing. Tim's out in the hall negotiating this thing. No, I'm just messing with you.
Well, I mean, I think if that's what Tim really needs. I mean, the board supported it. I mean, we looked at trying to go an alternative route, but if that's what you need, then I want to make sure he has what he needs to get his job done. So I can support it.
So I'm fine with it. I just wanted to throw that out as a suggestion if we could use it. Maybe we can use it somewhere else. All right. Any more discussion? Well, I need a motion to allow Tim to go out for bid for his new truck.
Just to be clear, that's a state contract, not bid.
State contract, excuse me.
In my conversation with Tim, my recommendation was to go the state contract route. The last couple of times we've tried to go out for bid just on a single vehicle, we haven't gotten any bids, and so that was my suggestion to Tim, was to go the state contract route.
All right. Well, we have a motion to go forward.
I made the motion that we go state contract to get Tim a vehicle for his department.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? None. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Got 5 ayes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. We're going to old business as awarding bid for interior walkways at Morris Bank Recreation.
Yes, sir. I'm going to do my best to walk through this without making it too confusing. We went out for bid back in March for interior walkways at the Morris Bank Recreation Complex. We put it on hold from bringing it to you because those bids came back extremely high. On the concrete side, which is what our real intention is, what we wanted, we did bid both asphalt and concrete. We only had one asphalt bid. And so I'm here tonight to explain you where we at and get your vote and your input on what direction you want to go. So to start with the bids, the only one asphalt bid we got was $88,263. That's Southern Equipment. Tri-County Construction was the low concrete bid. That was $163,614 and some change. If we went with just concrete, we only have just under $180,000 left in the 2009 SPLOST. If we went concrete route, that would eat up every bit of that, pretty much every bit of that 180 that's left, which wouldn't allow us to do any other recreation projects because the 2015 SPLOST is directly allocated to pay back the loan for the expansion. If we went just asphalt, then we could, asphalt the interior of the complex for $88,000. Since we went out for bid on this, and one reason we put it on hold was I got with John Lowe at Public Works and we did a couple trial runs with chip seal. We sprayed a couple interior walkways with chip seal to see how it would hold up under the traffic, and it's actually doing a lot better than me and John anticipated. With that being said, what I'm coming tonight is we went back and looked at a reducing scope of work to just doing the main drive through the center of the park where all of our delivery trucks would need to travel on. That is still gravel at this time. That's approximately 1,300 linear feet. If we went with just concrete on that, you're looking at about $51,875 and some change. If we went asphalt on that same run, you're looking at around $28,000. With that being said, if we wanted to do asphalt, we would have to award the bid to the Southern Equipment. They're the only asphalt bid. If we wanted to do concrete, then the low bid for concrete would be Tri-County Construction. In your package there, you see the estimates for the reducing the scope of work. The only other option I know other than what I just laid out would be, which would not make Leslie happy, but would be to throw it out and start completely over. So I just want to lay everything on the table and talk about it.
So, Matt, on page 51, is that
I'm trying to figure out what page.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You may not have it.
Okay.
Use this, mate.
I got that picture. I just don't have a page number. Okay, yes,
So
sir.
51 is this, I guess, the interior that you're looking at doing asphalt, or what's your thoughts on kind of explain that?
All the dark shaded area you see in that picture would be asphalt. That's correct, or concrete, depending on which route you took. But that is the area. If you're looking at the page up right, you have a softball field in the right in the center of the bottom. The area running this way across the page, that right now, that area is all chip seal, and it's holding up. It's holding up very well. This is the main road through, because that's our concession plaza. This is the main road that would come in the gate, allow the delivery trucks to cross through on concrete or asphalt, and then circle back around to exit. This is why this is important, that it needs to hold up under traffic. That's where your food trucks, your Coca-Cola trucks, and septic trucks, or whatever may need, over time, would be traveling on that road or that drive.
Okay, and then explain to us the $52,000 and the $28,000, I guess.
So the estimates there, the $52,000 is an estimate on if we did the reducing scope of work to 1,300 linear feet, which is that main drive through the park. At each intersection, we would have a turnout, which would allow trucks, my guys' equipment, tractors and whatnot, to turn on and off of that drive without damaging the surface. It would allow you to be on a solid surface until such time as Public Works is able to get everything chip sealed within the confines of the park. So the difference is concrete's more expensive than asphalt. Concrete requires a little bit more labor intense to get it set up and laid down. So that's the difference in the cost.
So let me correct it. The main line through the middle has been chip sealed now, it's holding up?
No, sir. The main line is not chip sealed. A walkway.
Oh,
what's chip sealed now is just foot traffic.
Okay, all right.
But it follows this main line going through.
It crosses it. It doesn't follow it.
Does that run along the berm at the top?
This here is just a walkway from the back parking lot where soccer families park or church softball families park. And it's a walkway that goes right through the middle of the park to the front gravel parking lot where most of your football and baseball parents park. So that's just a walkway, and that's right now is chip seal. And it's, like I said, it's holding up very well. And talking with John, there's no reason not to think that the rest of it wouldn't hold up as well. John says his crew out there, they work on the base, they get it ready, they come and chip seal it, and it's done very well. It's the main drive through that he's concerned about. If we were to just do chip seal on it, when you bring in that heavy truck and the weight of it, and you're turning those tires, and because it's got a trailer on it, and those trailer tires, it's going to chew and dig that up. That's his concern there.
So you just that one 1,300 foot, what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
This would free up money for other parks if need be.
Yes, sir.
And that ties all the way into Allen Green?
No, it ties into what's already asphalt. That ties into Allen Green.
Okay.
So if you did everything in this picture asphalt, it's $88,000.
Yes, sir.
Matt, look at this. That's the chip seal.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And all the other darkened areas you're talking about doing with
chip seal. This area here is what the reducing scope is. This right here. So if we voted to do the reducing scope of work, we would concrete or asphalt this main drive, and then we would chip seal everything else.
I got you. Chip seals, because we're doing it, greatly reduces our costs that way too.
It does, and the good thing about going with chip seal, is that not that John can free his people up at any given time, but if there is damage to the surface, it's easier repaired with John's staff than it is trying to get a concrete company or an asphalt company to come in to patch it.
So what would it cost if we do the main drag, I guess asphalt, and in the other areas chip seal? Do we have a price on that? I know it'd be cheaper, but.
Well, to do the main drag is the $28,000.
Okay, 28, okay.
And then obviously to chip seal everything, there is a cost because we're using county labor, county equipment, and you're still using product. So I would have to lean on John on that cost, but I imagine it's extremely cheaper.
Would we say 20,000 or, because my question is, with the maintenance and upkeep, at the end of the day, would it have been better just to go with asphalt and just did everything and it's done? Question.
I don't want to put words in John's mouth, but through conversation, I would say no.
It would not.
No, it would not. It would be cheaper to do it this way with chip seal.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I think we ought to rebid for the asphalt. We only got one bid. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Matt, am I reading this correct too, that it's a 2 inches of asphalt?
Yes, sir.
That's a big difference between 4,000 PSI concrete 6 inches thick and 2 inches of asphalt.
Correct. And that was why we wanted to make sure we put if you read the reduce and scope work, we're putting in the turnouts, which is 25 foot wide, starts off and turns and comes back into 10 foot, so that when these trucks or equipment is making that right hand turn, is staying centered in the asphalt. It doesn't start getting on the edges of it.
I'd be more concerned with the weight of a truck on 2 inch asphalt, because 6 inches 4,000 PSI can handle any service truck we got coming down through there.
As long as it's got proper compaction.
Right.
Yeah, right base.
But 2 inches of asphalt, I don't feel as comfortable with that.
You're gonna do 2 inches of asphalt, you might as well get the chip seal out there and do it. You're about to, it's not a nickel difference between what you're doing and 2 inches, I don't think. Yeah. We are, asphalt's gonna be the cheaper alternative by just under 20,000, correct?
Yes, sir.
Just over 20,000.
But would it be worth it to rebid it just to determine if we get some better pricing so we only have one?
If we rebid it, I would like to rebid it to the reduced scope of work instead of the interior. I'd like to try to continue to move forward with the chip seal on the interior walkways.
I think that it's just I'm kind of agreeing with Commissioner Robinson that with that, we know exactly what it's going to cost. It's bidded. You may get some additional bids. We may get a better price. And then when you present to the board, I'm making this up, it's $60,000 for everything.
Right.
And then the board had all the numbers versus, I'm not sure. So right. I'm leaning with Commissioner Robinson just to rebid it to the reducive scope that you guys recommend and go forward with that. Using the asphalt and then the chip seal in certain areas that you guys felt safe, and that would save money and give us additional resources to invest in other parts throughout the county.
And another thing too, is there going to be an engineer involved in bidding this and the scope of work? Because we got to have a good base.
Yes, sir. I'm not going to lean on my expertise when it comes to this, but it would be John and Wendell's expertise.
Yeah. Okay. Well, John certainly knows.
Yes, sir.
How to do it. That's right.
I know 2 inches just sound thin to me. I would think it would be more than 2.
I think 330 pounds is 3 inches. Is that right?
I don't know. I've always been a concrete fan, but it's always more expensive too.
Yeah. I think it's 110 pounds per inch. But I could be mistaken.
Well, the Southern Equipment quote bid is 2 inches, so it'd be hard to hold the feet to the fire with 3 inches if it says 2 inches on the price.
Yeah. In the bid document, we had 330 pounds.
We give authority to bid it based on the engineering specifications on asphalt.
I can agree with that, Chairman.
So moved.
Second. All right, we're good. You second?
Yep.
Any more discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
No? Yeah. All right, we're gonna move forward to department heads. Attorney Childs, would you like to start? You said you had a.
Yes, I do have one thing, Mr. Chairman. As most of you commissioners know, and as a lot of people in the audience know, we've been dealing with the cross issue out on Mr. Mark James' property. And to just summarize quickly for those people who might not be familiar with it, Mr. James has erected a rather large cross on his property. The neighbors are very much upset about it, very concerned. It's been an issue going on for quite some time now, along with other issues on that property. The issue we're talking about tonight is whether the cross is exempt from county permit requirements with respect to signs. The cross is treated as a sign. It's under that part of our resolution, the land development resolution, which regulates the size of signs. So for purposes of our discussion right now, the cross is the same thing as a sign. There are limitations on the size of signs in the county. And in looking at this issue, it was interesting to me, there are 63 counties in Georgia that still have no zoning at all. So those counties do have municipalities, most of them, and there is zoning in most counties where the municipalities. There are 7 counties where there's no zoning at all in the counties or the municipalities. So you can see the whole history of zoning goes back to, and there are people now who will take one side of it saying you should be able to do whatever you want to with your property, and there are other people who say no, it needs to be regulated. And I think what we have here in Jones County, it is a good compromise. People can do what they want to an extent with their property, but neighbors can be protected also. Well, we do have limitations on the size of signs in certain areas, limits the height, the weight, the square footage, and so forth. But then we also have sections in our zoning land use resolution that exempts certain kinds of signs. It means that there are no restrictions on certain signs. Now, that's in section 97.4 of our resolution. In the code here, it says the following signs shall be exempted from permit requirements. There are 8 of those categories. The one we're dealing with is in number 5. This is section 97.4, number 5, and it reads as follows. Any official flag, emblem, or insignia of the United States, the state of Georgia, other country or state, religious group, and civic organization or non-profit service club. And again, what that means is if you're in that category along with these other 7, the following signs shall be exempted from permit requirements. So the issue is whether the cross out there on Mr. James' property is an official emblem of a religious group. That's the one that would apply under that subsection. And therefore, if it is it exempt from our regulations? One thing I looked at when I first started researching this and talking to Tim Ingram, not Tim Ingram, I'm going to change your job, Tim Petrowski, had Tim on my mind, the other Tim, is compatibility. That's something that you always look at in zoning issues, which gets back to the history of zoning. You look at what use or proposed use is compatible with the other uses in the area and in the neighborhood. I don't think there's too much doubt that all the neighbors feel like that cross is not compatible with the other areas out there, with the other landowners, what they've done with their property. So that was something I was considering in the beginning, as well as the definition of official, as it is in that part of the exemptions. But the more I looked into it and considered it and researched it, the more convinced I became that the cross, there's a cross out there, clearly it's a cross, that it's unquestionably an emblem of a religious group, and that is Christianity or Christendom. And if it is, if that cross is an official emblem of that religious group, then, in my opinion, it is exempt from our permit requirements, and we cannot order it to be taken down. I know that's not what a lot of neighbors wanted to hear. I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's not my job to render popular legal opinions, but to try to give this board and any client of mine an opinion that is as much as possible legally correct and that can be defended in court. I realize probably the only person out of the many people who live out there who are going to be happy with this is Mr. James. I don't know Mr. James. I've never met him. I've seen him in here a time or two at meetings, but that's not the point. I've known Ms. Martha Branson for many years, been a good friend. Bub Lister's been a good friend of mine, and I know they're not going to be happy with this either, but I think this is clearly a situation where we don't have much choice about it. Mr. James has put up something that's exempt from our regulations, and in my opinion, that we cannot order him to take it down. I will say this, as an aside, what the board did earlier tonight by adopting the amendments that Mr. Petrowski had suggested means that this cannot happen again. Signs, crosses, any other things will be subject to anything else. I'm not saying Mr. James was going to put more of these crosses up out there. I have heard that was in his plans. I don't know that. This amendment was not presented to this board with any eye towards stopping Mr. James from doing anything in particular, although it has that effect. But it's something that what this did, this issue at this time and in that place, put a focus on an issue that we've been fortunate just never came up before. We've never had this come up in this context, and people can still put up religious symbols, crosses, whatever they might want to put up. But as the amendment we adopted tonight provides, they are subject to size limitations, and that's what it should be. So I'm sorry this whole issue came up. I'm sorry the neighborhood has been split asunder out there. I'm sorry for what the people are going through, everybody out there, both sides of it. And I hope things will calm down at some point and people can live together peaceably as neighbors. But as far as that cross is concerned, in my opinion, we have no right to take it down. As far as I'm concerned, is that okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, sure, come on. I don't, if you have a question, sure.
Jan Andrews, 122 Yukon Road. Having looked at this cross, it doesn't look like a cross. It looks more like a X or a, I mean, shouldn't there be a standard for what a cross looks like?
Jan, that's the first time I've heard that come up. I mean, it's been referred to as a cross since the first time I heard about it, since the first time Tim and I talked about it. I mean, I've read out there and looked at it too, and you know, to me it looked like a cross, but I wasn't sitting there examining it either. I just went out there to see the cross, and when I got there, I just assumed that was it. Now, that's something we can sure talk about some more, but I think everybody, I think the people who are even opposed to it have said they objected to the cross. They want the cross to come down. Mm-hmm. That's the first time I've heard it referred to as anything other than a cross.
Yeah. Just doesn't look like a cross to me.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from the board? No. Oh, I'm sorry. You were hiding behind me. We're allowed to comment because this has been an ongoing question for several meetings, and give you all the opportunity to speak.
Yes, I just want to say that I still think it is in the setback lines of the county. I understand that Mr. Petrowski has been out there and tried to measure, and he could not find the property line, and it's in a curve and near a telephone post or an electric post, anyway, a utility pole, and it is going to be a distraction And I don't see how you can interpret it as, remember I asked y'all when I gave you the packet about your definition of what a religious group. And I don't know whether y'all have thought about this, but a little bit later on, if he's allowed to keep this cross as it is my thought and theory that he most likely will later on declare this to be some sort of a Christian home or church or whatever, and then he will apply not to have to pay taxes. But this, Mr. Frank, bless your heart, I appreciate you recognizing that I've been a long-standing friend, and I've just been surprised and dismayed that anybody can just do anything. And what y'all have done, I certainly appreciate, but it's too little, too late if you allow him to continue with this cross. In other words, I have no objection. Why didn't he build it closer to his house or put it in memory of veterans or whatever? You know, he's told two different tales about why he has built the cross to begin with. He told me originally it was to give glory to God because he'd been so blessed. And then up at this meeting, and it's on television or YouTube, whatever y'all record this on, he stated that it was to give a memory to his late deceased brother who was murdered in another state. Or he could have built the cross. Some church would love to have a cross like that, I'm sure. Because he told me he plans to light it. But I definitely say that you need to check. I think it's too close to the road. It's in the setback lines. I know that the setback lines, Mr. Petrowski, are you still here? Are the setback lines the same all the way around Joy Cliff Circle?
Can I speak to that, Mr. Chairman?
Sure, come forward.
I'm not a surveyor, so I can't determine exactly where the right-of-way line is. I went out there, attempted to locate the front property pin. It appears to have been buried under a large amount of fill that was put there when the driveway was installed. So I can't tell exactly where the front property pin is. Most of the time, a road will gerrymander a little bit through the right-of-way. It shifts this way or might shift this way, especially when going through a curve. So I can't say how close the sign is or if it actually impinges on our right-of-way. I just don't know. It would take a surveyor to make that determination.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Petrowski.
And I will say this to the board, and maybe as Mr. Petrowski gets further along in this situation, because it's an ongoing project, I mean, it's going to be going for a while. If there's an issue about, and that's a good point, if it's in the right of way, not so much a setback requirement, but if it's in the right of way, that would be a problem for him. Now, it will take a survey to determine that, as Tim just said, and the board would have to authorize the cost of the survey. We can get an estimate on that.
Well, I would like to go on record as requesting that one be done post haste.
Is there not one on the deed book?
There should be a plat showing center line and all that.
Measurements of the plot of the lot. And
there probably is, but you still need a surveyor to go out there and actually put
find the pin,
and give us an opinion.
Do we have a county surveyor in Jones County?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is it?
Max Davis.
Okay. Can that be done without any trouble?
Well, if the board approves, we don't get surveys done unless the board approves it for some particular project and an estimate. We usually get an estimate of what it would cost. I can't remember what he charged for something. I think I wouldn't even want to estimate. Jason, you remember what we had it on something a couple of years ago, a case we had to file against somebody and we needed a survey. It was having to do where a swimming pool was. He went out and did the survey of the setback line.
And we've got a situation going on right now on a different road, another part of the county, where there's a question about where the pins were. We widened the road years ago, and anyway, got an estimate from the surveyor on what it would cost to go locate the front two pins there. And I think it was $400. So, if I had to guess to go out and locate the pins on that light, it would be something like that, maybe $400 or $500, if I had to guess.
I thought it was a little more than that, but certainly, everyone wants to approve something up to some limit, we can see what it would cost, and if it's more than that, come back, and if it's less, go ahead if you want to.
Tim wanted to comment.
Yes, Tim, go ahead.
I can tell you how much the pool survey was. I went back to my office and looked. I seem to remember $2,800 is what the cost was.
That's what I was thinking, and that involved, I don't think that included his testimony in court either, but I think that's what the survey cost was. I was thinking $2,000 to $3,000 for the survey, a sure enough survey. But maybe he could do it just on like the 2 pins Jason's talking about on this road. Maybe he wouldn't have to do a full-blown survey.
Right.
Well, I understand probably in the tax office there's a survey, I guess, that needed to and probably most likely was submitted of his property, but I understand he owns an additional lot there on Wheeler Court, which is all grown up, and as I said at an earlier meeting where he's put the cross, it's all grown up and there are a lot of deer, and it's right in a place where if a person's attention is diverted, then a deer could easily run out in front of them. It's in a very dangerous place.
Yes, ma'am.
And not too far from the center line of the road. And I also have heard, although I cannot prove this, and I like to prove, I like to search everything out with the truth, that Mr. James did his own survey work.
I bought properties and people moved the pins. Don't like where the property were and moved them. So
he can't file it.
He can't file it. I mean, he can move the pin anywhere he wants. It's still set.
Chairman, would it be in order to ask Jason and Tim to look into the whatever avenues we can without paying a surveyor to see if we can determine if we're anywhere close, if we're, I understand the concerns about the traffic issues and traffic complaints. But if we can tell by a plat that it's nowhere near the right-of-way limits, then we can move on from there. But if there's a question that it appears by the plats or by the center line drawings that it's on right-of-way easement, we bring that back to us and go from there.
Tim, I might be speaking out of turn too, but Tim, do you feel comfortable in saying there's already a question from what you looked at that it's very, very close and will take a survey to tell?
Yes, sir. I pulled a tape from the center line to the cross and came up with 30 feet. So if it's 60-foot right away and if the road is dead center, then it would be okay. But that's if the road's dead center of the existing right of way. The pin, I don't know exactly where the pin is, but it could be under as much as 6 foot of fill.
So your point, Commissioner, I think it's that close. I mean, I think it's probably take a survey to tell.
Wouldn't hurt to get estimates, see what it'll take to get the 2 front pins.
Will the board of Jason give us an estimate report on it? We can look into it.
Maybe find it with a metal detector. We got a lot of metal detector folks.
Young borrow, you forgot how it works. Maybe teach me, because I can't find a bottle top.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Commissioners and others. But we'll be back. We'll be back.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome anytime.
We are very persistent, very persistent.
Yes, ma'am.
But again, I do thank y'all for taking care. I only wish that had been done earlier.
Sure.
What
well, thank you very much.
Tim read earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, department heads. Ms. Resner, you want to go out of turn and not be last?
One thing I was going to ask the board about earlier today or yesterday, Wendell Cannon with Public Works brought me a list of just suggested roads for this year's LMIG project. We are still waiting on our contractor to come and do Comer Road Gerald Plantation and Stallings. But looking ahead to the next LMIG project, he's presented me with a suggested list of roads for the board to consider. I thought it might be helpful to do a work session to kind of talk about those, and then going back several months, we had talked about kind of reformatting our road project list, and I did a good bit of work trying to compile all that information and just reformatted it some and checked on statuses of paving dirt roads and that kind of thing. So I wanted to see if the board would be open to doing a work session to kind of talk about one, that the list of road projects, and then two, start working on a list for the coming LMIG project.
Sure. Would you like to do that next meeting, or would that be too soon?
I think that'd be fine.
All right. You need 30 minutes? What do you think we're going to need?
Probably an hour.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I will dedicate an hour to work.
Yeah, I won't be at the next meeting, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. We'll do it. We'll plan on a work session next meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Graham?
Yes, I got one thing.
A couple meetings ago, I approached the board in reference to the EMPG grant, the Emergency Management Preparedness Grant, and it was going to come out this year, and it had not. They had run out of money the last 3 years. Well, I got a letter today from FEMA and GEMA that they opened it up today, and we are eligible for this grant, and the deadline is the 25th of this month. And I was going to ask if it was okay if I go after a generator to generate the gym, our office, and this whole building under the EMPG grant. The way it works is we pay up front, and then they reimburse 50% back. But I can only spend up to, they'll reimburse up to $25,000. So I was going to ask if it's possible, I'll write the grant and submit it before the 25th, and we should hear within 6 weeks or so if we got it or not.
I support it, Chairman.
Yeah. The generator for these three buildings, is that in that range? Or can you get more?
We should. If not, then I just
get one.
Sir?
Ask for two, see if we can get one.
I don't think we can get that in $50,000. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much a big generator costs like that.
How many KVs that you're looking at, but
how many?
I said it depends on how much.
Okay.
How much voltage you need.
I'm going to actually call one of the electricians or one of the companies to see, because I've got to submit some sort of quote for say. Actually, I'll submit 3 quotes is the way that I work it when I send it back to the state. But they'll let me know pretty quick. I need one for that building. Ours is kaput after last year. But I think they would be crazy if we didn't try for the whole building, for the whole complex. When the power goes out, we can still work.
Sure. Commissioner Roberts?
It's okay to go for it.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Questions for him?
No, I just, Commissioner Kitchens and Pitts both feel all right with him going forward and
yeah, sure,
going after the grant. All right, consensus of the board, you're good to go.
Go for it.
We get it.
All right, sir. I'll let you know soon.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Matt's back there laughing at you for some reason.
Well, I wouldn't submit this. It came out today, but by the time we'd had the next meeting, and I know the policy very well about getting on the agenda, but I had to announce it tonight to get it written and back into them. Mine's going to be early.
Thank you. Mr. Goin?
I was laughing. Miss Margie worked hard on that agenda request form. I was in class with her when she worked on that. 2 things real quick. One, this is more for Commissioner Kitchens, but all of your blessings would be great. Girl Scout Troop has approached me and Mr. Jason about doing a give and take library at Liberty Park. It will be a structure not much bigger than this podium here, adjacent to the restroom area, between the restroom and the pavilion. I made it clear to the Girl Scout Troop that, you know, we could keep it clean and all that, but we couldn't be responsible for the structure itself as far as damage or vandalism. Basically, it's where they would come, stock it with books. You take your kids out there or grandkids, you take a book, you leave a book. I just want to get your blessings on giving permission to the Girl Scout Troop to move forward with this project.
A little free library. That would.
I've got one at Carroll's Park. There's a couple of them throughout the county, right?
Yes, sir. There's a couple of them different. I think this is going to be a little different than that, but it's the same concept.
Sure.
Yeah, the last thing I have is he's not here tonight, so I'm going to boost him a little bit. John Lowe, and it's not just him, but it's Public Works as a whole. I know y'all don't get to see it, and most people in the community don't get to see it, but their efforts behind Parks and Recreation is awesome. Their work we're doing right now on helping get this project beside us done. His work on helping get a natural walking trail at Mattie Wells Community Park is great. His chip sealing out there. I mean, what he does and what they do behind the scenes for Parks and Recreation goes unnoticed. So I just want to give him kudos tonight. So thank y'all.
Thank you, John. Mr. Pelkey?
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Just a quick update on some of the projects that have been in the works. The metering program, the 1,000 meters that we purchased a while back, they're in the ground. They just finished a few days ago, and it went relatively smooth. And the Masseyville project is moving right along, and I believe next week we're going to do initial startup on some of the wells, the well pump and the high service pumps, and the chemical company is running supply lines. So hopefully by the end of this month, beginning of next month, that we'll be close to having that project online. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on that. So thank you.
How many more meters do we have left to go in the county?
About 2,000.
Are we making a plan or strategy?
Yes, I think we're going to go out for bid for another 1,000.
How soon?
I can do it quick. They just finished about 3 days ago, so we're got everything in the system, so we're about ready to go again.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Our department head. Y'all notice Miss Margie's got a purple ribbon on her. That is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Is this month, October of 2018. We've got a candlelight vigil.
Yeah.
So, trying to say you're playing music for me. You got a candlelight vigil, October 17th, 2018 at 5 p.m. That's at Carroll's Park, 110 South Jefferson Street in Gray, Georgia, directly behind the Jones County Courthouse. Everybody's cordially invited. I was asked if I could make that announcement on Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We go forward. Commissioner's comments? No. Citizens' comments. Anybody like to come forward? Yes, ma'am. Come forward.
My name is Charlotte Spear. I live at 133 Royal Coach Drive in the county. I'd like to ask you to please help me do something about a dog that's tied to a tree. If you want to see something sad, you ought to go to see it. The lady at the corner of Joy Cliff Circle and Royal Coach pulled her dog house up there so the dog could have a dog house. She has taken the dog food, and during the hot days, she's taken the dog ice cubes to keep the dog alive. Dog is located at 259 Princess Anne Drive. And if you could please help me with this situation, I sure would appreciate it.
Yes,
I've called Jennifer. Jennifer does not return telephone calls. So if y'all can help me with this, I sure would appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Miss Charlene, what was your last name?
Spear, S-P-E-A-R.
Have you got the address on that? Okay.
You got my address or the dog's address?
I have both.
Okay, thank you.
Has anybody called the sheriff's office to report the?
I have, Frank, but ain't a thing been done. And if you want to see something sad, go and look for yourself. And they tell me the dog is on a 13-foot chain. I know what a chain is, and I know 13 from 10. But it's a sad situation to be in Jones County.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else have some comments?
Hey Commissioners, how y'all doing? My name's Captain Hanson with Navicent Health. I just wanted to make sure that y'all got y'all's numbers. I hope that's helpful to each and every one of you. I know we had a question about an ambulance last couple weeks ago. Don got in touch with me and I answered and gave all the times. Also got in touch with Mr. Kitchens to tell when the call was. Our times matched up with the Jones County rescue time. So, but if there's anything that I can answer for y'all or do for you, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. Next week I will be out of pocket. Steve Hamlin, Captain Hamlin, is going to be taking over my duties for the week. So if y'all have to get in touch with him, I'm sure you're familiar with Steve. Sure. And Don, I've told Don, so that he can make contact with Steve if y'all have any questions.
Commissioner Robinson, I had a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Does Navicent station 2 ambulances in Jones County?
Yes, sir. We try to station a truck in Gray. We used to be out at the jail, but the times were delayed, so we put them in the public, so they usually sit in the Ingalls parking lot, and then we try to sit one on Joy Cliff and 49 in that area. Does it happen all the time? No, but we try to because we're so busy. We try.
Do you have a shortage of ambulances?
We are. Yes, we have we're hiring more people because our demand has gone up. We're over 3,000 calls from where we're supposed to be. So we're hiring more people, and the hiring process takes roughly a month because you have to put them through hospital orientation. Then it's a week of our orientation, department orientation, and then depending on if the employee's new to EMS or if they're a seasoned veteran, it could take, a couple of weeks because they have to meet some objectives from the FTO's point of view, and then they go see our medical director, meet the medical director. So we want to make sure they're good and ready to go serve the public.
Another question, and it may be before your time, but
yes, sir.
The medical center said that if the ambulance in Gray had a call and had to go to Macon,
yes, sir,
there'd be one rotated back.
Yes, sir. We do try to do that. If we've got the truck, we shoot them. What happens is if the truck gets a call, they'll get on scene, and once the truck says that we're transporting the call, then they try to shoot another truck up there. Does it happen all the time? No. We try to get most of the time. It does happen, but we do run into some shortfalls.
Is there? What are the priorities? What would be your priority not to have an ambulance or 2 ambulances in Jones County? What would be going on?
All the trucks we've exceeded our limit. Everybody's on a call. That's, no matter who you talk to, whether it's EMS, police, fire, the calls are just going up, and we're trying to keep up with the calls.
So how many EMTs are you short now?
I don't know the exact number. I know that we've got a class of 7 coming through right now. EMTs, paramedics, EMTAs.
So for every 2 you hire, that would mean another ambulance on the road?
Yes, sir.
Can you stay in touch with Don about the hiring?
Yes, sir. Whatever Don needs to know or he has questions, he can call me and I'll get right back to him.
And also the over 14 minutes response time.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand how it can be so high. I don't know what the national average is. I really don't care.
Yes, sir.
But it seems like if we've got 2 ambulances in Jones County, 14 minutes, over 14 minutes, a long time for a response.
Yes, sir. That's for the rule setting that they do. A rule setting for times.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So for city settings, they're shorter. For rule settings, they're a little longer for distance having to travel.
Rural, okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you're in the city of Gray.
Yes, sir.
You can be in downtown Macon in 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I don't see why I just don't understand why the response time is so high.
14 minutes, I can get back with you and give you an answer. I mean, I know that our set times is 14 minutes. Our medical director and directors look at our average times, and that's what they come up with.
Well, it just kind of puzzles me because from downtown Gray, you're practically in the center of the county.
Yes, sir.
And to take over an average of over 14 minutes,
yes,
that just, something's not right.
Yes, sir.
And it may be just, and I don't see where a shortage of EMTs would cause that, because the medical center said they would have one in Gray.
Yes, sir.
And 2 now.
And we do try to meet that most of the time, but when the truck gets a call, I mean, it's out of a resource, and we have to wait till we get another truck, to fill that spot.
Well, I would like to know about the over 14 minute response
yes, sir.
time.
Okay, and I will work on that for you.
I can leave downtown Gray and drive the speed limit and be in Putnam County and
yes, sir.
less than that.
Yes, sir. I will work on an answer for that.
Sort of disturbing to me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
But I will get an answer, and I will. Do you have some? I'll get Don to get your contact number, and I will call you when I talk to that you're not. You want some improved times.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Mr. Hanson, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Say something just.
Yeah, sure. You want piggyback on that, sure?
Can I piggyback on what you're?
Sure. I mean, yeah, if you need to say anything, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. He's one of our own, Station 8. He's been with us 5 years. 5 years. He's one of our volunteers, and he looks after us. And if he says he's going to get an answer, he'll get us an answer.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Young lady back, like, come on.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, you're fine.
This lady brings my mail to me, I think.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Mackey, and I'm from the Middle Georgia Lions youth traveling football team. I've been using the park over at 49 South Complex for at least, I have a voucher from 2010. So we've been using that park for over years. So this year we had the same traveling league, so I got with the contact person was Matt, I guess. Well, it wasn't me, but it was the CEO of the company. And this reached out to him like on the 4/9 of this year. So, however, we had sent him the schedule. We did everything, text messages or whatever, however he wanted us to communicate with him. No call back, no nothing, anything. So, however, it's another team, the Middle Georgia Raiders, that wants to use the same field as we do on their home games. We play home games and away games. And so it was a date in question, and that was October the 13th. However, on 8/28, we came here to pay for the days that we needed our home games, September the 9th, 13th of October, 27th of October. Paid, insurance, contract, all here. So, however, today, we still hadn't no contact with Matt, because he said that the game, somebody else wanted the same date as we did. So, however, we're like, well, how do they want the same date that we have? We already paid for her, whatever. Talked to the lady. She said she don't see anybody on the calendar, so I don't know how it's going. So my question is, what is the SOP for us requiring the field, getting the field, or whatever?
Matt?
Yes, sir. A point of contact, and I have text messages where I've been in contact with him numerous times. There's a Central Georgia Raiders and Middle Georgia Lions, and two teams that contact us roughly almost simultaneously about 49 ballpark. And there was an oversight on October the 13th. And I reached out about a month ago asking both parties, is there a way to work together on these two things? And reached back out this morning to see if there was any resolve in that request. And then I get a phone call from this young lady. And but anyway, it has been resolved. Central Georgia Raiders are bowing out. Northern Georgia Lions have the field. Central Georgia Raiders, if they decide to still use October 13th, we're going to move them over to Highway 18 and allow them to use Giles Field at Highway 18. The Northern Georgia Lions, I've reached back out to Nate Banks again this morning, letting him know that it's been resolved. They have the field. There's no issue that the Raiders decided to bow out. So it's been resolved.
But being do so, I do understand that you did that. It was no contact until you contacted him this morning at 7 something. I contact you at 7:28. Until this day, we was planning a homecoming, but we didn't know if we had the field or not, so we couldn't really plan an event without any confirmation from him saying that, hey, it's a go, let's go ahead and do it. He's still asking us today at 7:30, did you find anything out for October 13th on rescheduling? What are you talking about rescheduling? We're supposed to have the field if we already have, you know, there's no confirmation there. So we couldn't do anything, but we plan on having a game there, but it was just like up in the air. So we're going on vacation next week. So before we went on vacation, we really did need to know something. Was something concrete? We have a game or not? So I'm just trying to figure out what was all back and forth. Well, it was no communication until this morning, until I spoke with him and said, okay, so what is this that you got going on for the field on October 13th? Then he said that y'all simultaneously got the field with the same people. And I was like, well, how is that if the person down here gave us the date and we paid for it? You don't know, you can't tell me. I'm like, wait a minute now. I said, okay. Then I got a response. I said, okay, well, who's your boss? And he said the county administrator or whoever. Okay, I'll see you tonight. Then from that time on, I got a call, 805, 855, 908, 250. I can talk to you now.
No, that was to let you know that it had been resolved, because if you look at my message, you'll see where I spoke with Central Georgia Raiders during this same process, and it was all resolved, and I tried to reach back out to you to let you understand that the issue had been resolved, that the Raiders backed out. That's why you got repetitive phone calls from me.
Okay, but I needed to know this prior to. I sent you a text message, 8:25. Communicate with you. The first time we communicate, Matt, this is Nate Bates, and you give me a call. This on 4/9 when we got the schedule so that we can plan. We can't plan things 2 weeks prior. I mean, you just can't do that. When people are coming out of town, you need to know if you have a field or not. If not, we need to make other arrangements. Not 2 weeks prior to today. No communication, nothing. No call back. But we got you sent somehow us the text message from them that you're getting them a contract. You sent their text message to him, emails with their contract on there with their home dates, the same as ours. So we're like, okay, so he's communicating with somebody. It's just not us. And I just want to know what is the proper procedure on requiring the field so we won't have this again.
Sure.
The policy of the practice of my department is when people request a field, they come through me. All right, we verify who they are, what they're doing, make sure they have the proper insurance, make sure it fits who we are and what we do. Nate Banks reached out. Me and Michael actually met with Nate Banks. It took some time to meet because his schedule and our schedule didn't always match up. We did meet. He did come to my office. We were able to work it out. Things have been going fine. It was an oversight on October 13th date. All right, and that's why I was reaching out trying to resolve. See if there was a way before I just said, you can't. If there was a way to work together. And that reaching out this morning was, again, trying to follow up if there was any availability of any one of the teams rescheduling. They responded prior to Central Georgia Raiders responded. As the Central Georgia Raiders did respond to the text message I sent out this morning, they let me know they had rescheduled. Reached back out to them to let them know everything had been resolved.
Yeah. We're sorry for the confusion, and I promise we'll try to do better in the future. I mean, people are prone.
Communication is the key, and I'm like, if somebody's calling you or reaching out to you, then what is wrong with picking up the phone, calling them?
Yes,
I mean, a text message, that's not really how I want to handle business.
Sure.
If you're a department head for something, if I call you, call me back, email or something.
Right.
Okay, it's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Well,
but just to ignore me, that's not acceptable.
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, we'll try to do better in the future. I'm sorry
Please
for the.
do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm having problems with next.
CRISSY. I'm sorry. CRISSY.
Chrissy?
Yes, M-A-C-K-E-Y.
Okay.
All right, just thank you.
Out of curiosity, Mr. Chairman, Matt, once you get the reservation, do we coordinate with Chantel so she can block out those dates? Because if she has this in writing, we don't want that sort of conflict to happen.
That's correct.
So do we communicate with Chantel so she can block it off?
Yes, sir, we do.
Do we have a calendar online that shows?
Not online, we don't, no, sir.
Okay, because I think that would help too, so people know that these fields and facilities are reserved, so we don't have an issue. And then can they defer to Mike or somebody as a backup, because you're running Parks and Rec, you're running a golf course.
Well, we don't, and again, not to make excuses or to discount this, I don't know this much name, but we don't have an administrative staff. So once we hit the field going, we don't have anyone to answer phone calls. We check messages once a day. We're in the field moving all over the county. We don't have a secretary. Not I'm at we don't have administrative staff. We are our administrative staff. So, I mean, I can delegate Michael to do that, but then that's taking him away from other maintenance issues and different things of that nature. But that's how we operate.
Is it out of order to let Chantel do the reservations? And
Can we have the phone after 2 rings, nobody answers, rolls over to somebody that can answer? That's not
my bad. But at least coordinate.
We'll try to resolve this and make it more efficient in the future.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we're going forward. Mr. Robinson, you want to start off with Commissioner's comments tonight?
I will. I want to thank Shannon Wagner and Jason Risner for getting the ball going real quick on our security. The metal detector is up and we have a deputy in place. And this is our 2nd week of having it going, and we have a deputy tonight with us too. And we will have at our meetings from now on, and I think it's a great thing. It was a great suggestion, and I'm glad the board approved it all. Sure am.
Thank you, Commissioner Martin.
A couple of things. CDBG, Sun Valley, those calls have been coming in ever since they broke ground. They were excited about it, then it stopped, and then they were disgruntled, and the phone started ringing again. So we got some praises, then we got the other part. Did stay in contact with Tim to keep us apprised of why they were changing off, and I understood that they went to work on the other water mains and the other exchanges that needed to be worked on. Again, that goes back to posting it on the website, status update, so we can save him a headache and everybody else. Let's communicate what's going on, and that's the least we could do. The other thing, sewer issues I think are significant in a bunch of different areas around the county. Not too long ago, I think there was a citizen right here in Gray whose septic tank was leaking or whatever was happening, his water got turned off. And I know at some point we have to turn water off if it's causing a problem. I don't want to get into that situation, so let's try and fix it. CDBG can be used for more than just sewer, so infrastructure stuff, roads, etc. Let's figure out, other opportunities for doing that or extending it if we need to, because I don't know where they got the information from, but are we running out of money?
I'm still signing checks every week.
Okay. But if we are, let's apply for it again, because there's a plan first.
I think everything's still in good shape. I haven't seen any, nobody told me any different.
Okay. Yeah, and we don't have any updates, so we can't say, here's where we are in spending and here's where we're not. Sidewalks up here look good. Again, citizens are asking about sidewalks in our area. I know I asked for that during the budget cycle. The bridge has a sidewalk on it and doesn't go anywhere. So if it could connect to the other side of the park and maybe to a couple subdivisions, they're interested in that. Like Matt said, kudos to Public Works. They were on my street today. I don't request paving because I don't want to seem like I'm getting a special favor, but they were there chip sealing the road, and I was excited because it's probably a little overdue and they were doing a good job at it. Field use was on there as well. Again, if we can get the calendar connected, let's make that happen for all reservations so we know. Was at Liberty Park 2 Saturdays ago, and either it was double booked or nobody booked it and somebody lied and said they had booked it. And one family kicked another family off the gazebo, and I thought it was going to be a bar fight because it was about 70 people under the gazebo. And again, I don't know if it's reserved or not, but we just moved our little party down to the other end.
We don't rent a gazebo.
Okay, I'm sorry, pavilion. So we moved to the gazebo because we saw it. Somebody said it was reserved. But the pavilions, one family said they had reserved it, and the other family just packed up and moved. So I don't know if it was a double reservation or no reservation.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so if we do have it on the calendar.
Right. The pavilions operate first come, first served unless someone has rented it. So let's just say Mr. Jason was out there because he didn't go through the proper channels, but he said, I'm going to have a birthday party or a cookout. You show up saying, well, we rented it during this time span. Here's my slip from the Jones County Government Center, then they have to vacate.
Yeah, I don't know that the average citizen knows that there's a slip or ticket process. Again, that calendar pops up on the web. I look at it. Oh, yep, it's for the Jones family, and I can move. And then that pavilion has two parts to it. They made the family get out of the entire pavilion. I don't know that they had a reservation for both sides or not. Yeah. And by the way, part of the fencing was down. One of the little kids almost ran off of the bridge down.
We have notified building maintenance. They have it on their list. We're working on it.
Excellent. Beautiful location. If you guys have never been to Liberty Park, go. Animal control. I've gotten phone calls. There have been posts. I've shared some that have come across, which kind of goes back to what some of the citizens are saying. There are legitimate concerns. They want to have it addressed. I don't know who's going to resolve some of those issues if the issue is with regard to not having a department head at this point. Congratulations to the Animal Control Department, because I saw a grant that they won in the newspaper. I don't know who did the hard work, but good job for that. Accident policy. We just gave zoning and planning a new truck after there was an accident with the old truck. Anytime, in my opinion, we should have a policy that addresses anytime there's an accident with a vehicle that involves destruction of property, there should be an automatic drug test without question. And the reward is not a new truck. My concern is that we send the wrong message, and that opens the county up for liability. When I look back at videos, I'm really concerned about it. And then shortly thereafter, we had another vehicle crash into some stationary equipment. I tell my wife all the time, I don't know how you hit a pole. It was already there. You knew it was there, so go around it. County vehicles, I don't think should hit stationary objects. That's my opinion. Job application kiosks. As the chair of the Workforce Investment Board, the elected side, we are rolling out job application kiosks to different counties. The first 3 counties made it in by vote. Our county wasn't in that vote, but they did offer it to us. I think it's $2,000 or $3,000. The kiosk goes up here. Our citizens can apply for jobs all over the region. We do jobs in all of the 10 counties except Bibb County. So it would be nice for our citizens to have a location to come and see that information. So if we want to participate, there is some cost sharing, and we can do that with you all. Also, there is some job training that's happening for different employers down in the Warner Robins area. I can't remember all the names, but if we can get the link working on the website, we can tie everybody in so they can see it. They are also looking for apprenticeship opportunities. They sent us to Alabama, and across the river in Mobile was Alstom Shipbuilding. Tremendous operation. And they were hiring right out of high school welders, electricians, plumbers, and pipe fitters, and starting these kids at $18 to $20 an hour. Now, you don't have to be a kid, so if you want a new career, there's an opportunity. There is a local group in North Georgia that's doing the same thing. And I posted it on Facebook, and I think I tried to send it out to a couple folks too. So just wanted to share that, and hopefully we can get our reservation calendar up and get our water meters in and keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Pitt?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. 2 things, and some of them asked Ms. Tyson and Jason to look into. Is it acceptable to have another vendor at Morris Bank Recreation Center selling like snow cones or something like that on the property? I don't know if that's acceptable or not. I'm not asking for an answer tonight, but just something to look into, because someone has asked about, putting a stand out there so they can sell some items. So I want to get your ideas and recommendations on that. Another thing I wanted to ask the board, and pretty much a consensus, to see if Jason or Shannon can work with United Way. United Way, they do a lot of great things in the middle of Georgia, and as well as here in Jones County with the Boys and Girls Club. And it's a way for our employees and the citizens can get involved. I think they met with the Board of Education, so they're looking at it, and the Board of Commissioners, whereas if employee wants to allocate $1 out of his check every 2 weeks, that dollar can go to us United Way to help fund a project or something along those lines. So if it's okay to have Jason and Shannon talk to them, and if they can come back and just present what was presented, and as long as it's acceptable, and it's totally optional for the employees to participate, it's nothing mandatory, but it's if they feel like it's worth the cause and they want to support it, then just try to move forward with that. So those are the two things that happen, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Pitts. Commissioner Kitchen?
Thank you, Chairman. I'll piggyback a little bit on Commissioner Pitts, the United Way program. They also have some avenues to have volunteers help with community projects, and can get a dollar value with that. So we could get some projects done that way, volunteer programs, and it's all led by United Way, and that's a good program. We're working with some other communities on it. So echo Commissioner Martin with the spay and neuter grant that we got. That's pretty neat. I think our past director and the regional commission worked on that grant, and it was from what I understand, there was several regional attempts to get it, and we were one of the few that did. With that, I hope we would promote this and have some kind of program that coincides with it to let people know that we have this money. We shouldn't give a dime of this money back for this grant. We need it and 10,000 more like it, with the issues that we have, that people won't spay and neuter their animals and that kind of stuff. So last thing, at some point I'm going to see if Jason can look up what it would take for us to change our litter ordinance. In the past, it has been almost non-existent in most every county, simply because of the economics of it. You can't $50 or $100 fine. If somebody's not going to pay the fine, you got to take them to court. You're talking a deputy going to court, the court cost of it, the legal cost of it. It's not worth it to write a ticket for it. So it seems like the money is the issue, but we've got a problem. I don't care what you say. Not all this trash that's blowing out on our roads is coming out of a unkept truck. Some of it, yes, but some of it is just flat out sorriness. And if people are going to be sorry enough to throw their stuff out on the side of the road, then by God, they ought to be able to pay to pick it up. And if they can't pay, then we can work off the fines and let them pick it back up. But it's a disgrace for our community, and it's a disgrace for the people that care about our community to see this everywhere you go. We had a community cleanup, and the very day we had it, that afternoon, my wife and I were riding to town, and it's embarrassing that people are throwing it out as soon as you pick it up. It's uncalled for, and if other people don't care, I think we need to show that we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing. Had a conversation with Shaw Hankins, our new insurance carrier, about claims, and we had some high level of claims, and in order to reduce our liability as a county and reduce our expenses, claims need to come down. We just rolled out raises, and I would like us to consider incentivizing the department. Hey, reduce whichever department has the greatest level of reduction. That department can get an extra point or so towards their raises. I can't remember the number, but it seemed like almost $2 million in claims if you're reading the claims report. Is anybody reading the claims report? No? It's about $2 million. That's a lot. We just gave out raises, I think, $197,000? 1 point, $1.9 million. We have a lot of room. So I think that's the incentive. And then the other thing we talked about was retirements. How many employees are actually participating in the retirement plan? I'd like to challenge you all. The department that gets the most people to participate in retirement savings, over 5%. We know the number should be about 10% if that is an option. I'd personally offer $1,000 to that department because our employees need to know the importance of putting money aside. All right. So I give you 12 months. Well, no, it's in the next evaluation cycle to get there. And I don't care how the department uses it. That's my offer. Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing else. I need a motion to adjourn and go into executive session for personnel.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
A motion is second.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Thank you.
Thank you.